Hey guys, so for this video I'm going to be going over our interior lighting kit, showing you what's included in the kit, going over the app, and showing you how everything connects and everything hooks up, so you have a little better idea of how to install this if you do get it, or just to check it out to see if you even want to get it. So first off, included with the kit you will have 5 controllers. And the really cool thing about these controllers is that you have a master and then you have 4 sub-controllers. Now the sub-controllers automatically connect to the master controller. You just have to provide power and ground to each controller and they will automatically sync up. There is a QR code on each one of the boxes that you can scan for the app, and that way you can connect to it, control it, and choose what you want, show mode wise, or different colors and different settings that you want to do within the app. I will go over that later on in the video. In addition to that, you do have the main strips. There are 6 strips. You have 4 that are 75 centimeters long. You have 1 that is 90 centimeters long, and you have 1 that is 20 centimeters long. So in the typical car, your 4 75s will be long enough to fit your doors, and most of the time you're going to have to cut those to length. It's usually a little bit more than you need, but you can cut at the ends and you'll be okay. And then you've got the shorter one, which is usually between the gauge cluster and the door. And then you've got the longer one, which is this one here, and that should go between the gauge cluster and the passenger side door, or whatever the longer section is. If you got a right-hand drive, left-hand drive car, it might be a little different what side you're putting it on. So those are the main strips for the actual dash kit. You can see they are quite small, less than 1 millimeter thick. So very easy to install. You can literally just slide them right in between the dash and maybe a trim piece or something like that. You'll have to work with your car to figure out what exactly fits best and where. But install is not too difficult. And then you will have the plug itself that will run to each controller. In addition to that, we do have 4 under dash LED strips. Now these are nothing amazing, they're not super bright, but they are included in the kit, and it does make it nice to be able to sync everything up and make everything work together. But these would be for the footwells under the dash, so you could put 2 on each side. Plenty of wiring to be able to run that with a single connector that goes to the master controller. Then you have these accent lightings, and this can be done in like your door handles, or it could be done up under the dash somewhere. And they can plug into any one of the controllers. Actually has plugins potentially for these, depending on what you want to use and where you want to use them. But ideally it would probably be like your door handles, and it might be some latch or something wherever on the actual doors. These would work ideally for that. And they are the larger style and then the smaller one, depending on your application. And these just pop right out, so you can drill a hole and slide this right through the hole with this on the back side, and it'll make install pretty simple. Next up, we have a splitter here. So this splitter is actually for the front trim pieces here, and that way it goes from 1 into actually up to 3 splitter, but the average car you're just going to use 2 of those, and that'll be for the short and the long strip on the front dash. Last up is power wires for each controller. You have the main one here that also has a fuse tap, so you can connect that to possibly a dome light, or some kind of a switch if you wanted to. Get a little bit creative in how you want to run that, but it's a power and ground for that, with that fuse tap that is attached. you can cut that off if you'd rather just go straight to a switch. And then you've got the rest of the power wires, which are just simple pigtails that plug directly into the controller with power and ground on the ends here. Obviously, red being power, black being ground. So as for connecting controllers, here's your main power wire, as I said, and you're going to take the one that says main controller. So you do have the 4 that say sub controllers. Those are for your doors, and then your main controller here. Main controller is listed what is what. The power wire is the only one with the 2-pin connector, so you can't actually plug it in wrong. But it goes to the 12-volt plug on the side there, which is marked. The voice is not used, so don't worry about that. But then you have button, footwell lamp, and lights. These would be your footwell lamps. So that plug will go into footwell. And then you have your lights. Now your lights is going to be this splitter here. And on the other end of that, you do have the 3 connections that you can use for your strips primarily, but you could also connect one of the lights like this if you wanted to. In addition is the button that will plug into the master controller. And this is one where you can quickly change through the show modes without having to open up the app. So you could put this somewhere. It does have 2-sided tape on it, so you can stick this on the dash or something. It does have a fair amount of wire, so you should be able to run that without any issues. And you would just be able to push this button to change the actual mode that is playing on the car. And it just cycles through, so every time you push, it will start up a different mode. Next up, I'll show you how to connect everything to your satellite controller. You have your main power line. And that, just the same as the master controller, will go to your 2-pin 12-volt connection that is marked. You do also have the storage lamp, the handle light, and your light and your horn. We do not use the horn on this setup, but we do have the light, the handle light, and the storage lamp that can be used. On our own show car, we only did the strips in the doors themselves. I think it did 1 in the door handle, and it was kind of cool, but it is a little bit extra work to install it. And on that car particularly, we were just trying to get it done as quick as we could. I think the whole install took maybe an hour and a half, but keeping in mind that we didn't do things like running the under dash kit or doing the door handle pieces. But if you were to do it, you have the storage lamp and the handle light, and it doesn't really matter which one you plug into which. They're basically the same LED setup. They're just visually a little bit different. And last up would be your main strip going to the light input. So once you have everything connected, I'll kind of go through now, just showing you how the stuff will flow and how it opens up. So we connect the power. So this would be like if you tap into a door switch, like your dome light or something like that. This would be your startup animation. And then it's just going to go directly to whatever the last animation that you were running was, which in this case is the little color flow style thing there. But I can push buttons and change my modes on the fly just with this little button that you can attach to the dash or wherever you prefer. And that'll give you the flexibility to be able to change on the fly what actual modes you're running. And there are quite a few different modes. The app you need is called Magic Lantern. So we'll go ahead and download and open that. Now we are
click up in the top corner there and you'll see your devices. You can hit refresh if you need to, and then you should be able to sync up to that controller. If you hit the light bulb, it should turn it on and off, and that's a good way to test to make sure that you are actually connected. In my case, I am. So now I'm going to switch right back over into the color wheel here, where you can choose whatever color you want to run. You just click in that area and you'll get that color on your strips. In addition to that, you do have your preset buttons down on the bottom here, where you can choose which color you want, as well as a slider for the brightness. These strips are not like really bright to begin with, so I mean, generally I would keep them up there. They're great for an interior, but you know, I mean, if it was exterior or something, it's not ideal. But it's also 1 millimeter thick. I mean, that's the biggest thing, is they're so small. They work really well for dash. I don't know that they would really be suitable for much else. Definitely nothing external on the car. You won't really even see them unless it's nighttime. Externally. Internally, they work fine. I have them at shows already, and you can see them walking by, and on a light, sunny day, you can see them going inside the car, no problem. So next you have the style mode, and these are like presets. So like that initial is your magic forward mode, and that's got that kind of like color flow look to it. Magic back. You can just play with these and see what you like. You can adjust your speed dial there on the bottom to make it go faster or slower. You got all the different styles that you can scroll through up top here to find the one that fits best for you. There's also a music mode, and you can actually download songs, or if you have songs in your phone, you can use that and play the songs, and it will dance to the music. You can also go into mic mode. Now, mic mode will actually pick up the microphone on the phone, or you can do the external microphone that's built into the controller, and it will dance to music, to sounds, to things like that outside of the car or in the car. And nice little mode, nice little feature that some may find useful. And then you do have scheduled timer. I haven't really found much of a use for this yet. I don't know if you leave for work every day at a certain time on the dot and you want your car flowing when you walk up to it. I guess you could do something like that. But other than that, I'm not really sure what the purposes could be used for that. But hey, it's there, so it's kind of cool. So beyond that, back to your adjustment tab, you do also have the slider here that can turn it on and off up in the top corner. And by and large, my recommendation would be that you probably either put this on a switch, or you run this to the door dome light, or like a door switch of some sort. So when you open the car, it's kind of like a welcome light, and then it'll shut off just like a dome light would in a car. If this is a show car, you probably want it running non-stop for the length of a show. So in our show car, I actually have it wired to a switch, and I can turn that on whenever I want and just have it going. So both solid options, just I guess kind of deciding what fits best for you and what your desires and goals are for the car.
So here we are inside of the show car here, and as I start it up, you can see it flows around, and then it flows back, and it shuts off, and then it goes right back to whatever last mode was, which currently is just the little standard color flow deal. All in all, it gives a very nice clean look to the car. As you can see, when it's off, it's not extremely noticeable, the strips. They hide very well, they tuck very well. They're very easy to install and uninstall if you needed to pull them out. I can just grab a hold of it like that, and there it is. Just like that. I want to put it right back in. That's your install. So all you really have to do is run your wiring. Like my wiring runs back in there, and goes down behind the console, center console here, and I got power and ground and everything's down in there. The controller's down in there, master controller. I did not do any of the footwell stuff yet. I may go back and do that at a later point. I was much more focused on the big strips up here. I did do one in the door corner here, and turn that on. As you can see, it does light up, and it does a pretty good job. I mean, what it's supposed to do. And then you would put like the other little one maybe down in the little door handle here, or you know, get creative in where you want to put it. If you have a coupe, you know, you could run a secondary strip below here possibly, and all around. In the case of this one, I felt that this was plenty for what I was doing. If you're wanting to run dual kits, like let's say you have a Forester just like this one, you want to run dual kits, you know, this would probably be a good car to be able to do that, because you could run that second strip down below and then the main strip up top. But it's going to greatly depend on your car. Some cars, these strips may not work for it. So, you know, just look at your dash layout, figure out, do you have somewhere that you can tuck that small strip into like this? Most cars do, some do not. So please consider your application, consider your setup to determine whether or not it's feasible on your car to do. But definitely a pretty cool, unique way to bring some attention inside the car, make the dash look a little bit cooler, and hopefully this video sheds a little bit of more light about the kit, makes it a little bit more something that you guys understand more, so that you can decide whether or not it is right for you and your car. But the kits are available on our website, nextlevelneo.com, as well as bragginglights.com. You can get it either place. It doesn't, they're at both. And we will be taking these to car shows and things like that as well. That way you can see it on the car in person, and then we will have it there to sell. So if you do happen to go to any of the shows that we go to, we should have a kit there, and you can talk to us a little bit more about it before you make that decision. But if not, we can get one shipped right out to you, and you can give it a shot. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment anything that you have any questions about. If you do have anything, you know, a little bit more detailed question, you might just message us directly, and we can try to get you whatever information you may need. Thanks again.